Hello and welcome friends to our deck building 101, and we're going to start with the basics. Your pony here, and let's talk about it. So the basics about deck building: how to begin, when to start, what to do. There are some interesting things to think about. So the first question always I get is creatures, spells, weapons. Is there any ratio that makes sense? Like, how do you get on with it? How you start with it? So in a normal deck, and we can get some examples for that. In a normal deck, you have like a 10 spells to 20 creatures ratio to have a nice amount of, I can deal with stuff with my spells, but I have also beasts on the board. I mean, there are different decks. There's Rush type. Rush type, for example, Zulok has like 4 spells, 3 spells tops. There's Miracle Rogue, there you have like 17 spells, but normally you go on like into a 10-20 variation. We can check that out. We're gonna drop here in game. Let's see. So for example, the Control Warrior, you go here and you're like, okay, you have like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 spells in total, correct? 8 spells in total, and you got like 5 weapons. So let's say 13 spells. That fits well in the 20-10 ratio. That's like how you are looking at a deck. For example, we're gonna start with Mage. Now we're gonna only choose all sets. You're gonna only choose the basic set. So you're a new player, you don't have a lot of cards, maybe some rares. We're gonna start now. So we're just gonna put some cards in, like try to fit the ratio. So what do you definitely want is like Flame Strike 2, so you get 8 spells, and you can choose 2 polymorphs. So that's already great. You got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 spells. And then you add 20 creatures. So let's see, how can we build a basic Mage that's good in any way? You choose the Acidic Swamp Boost, obviously, to destroy weapons. You go for card draw. Man, I haven't built basic decks in quite a while. You go for card draw. You can add some buffs there. Also Yetis, which are one of the strongest minions in this game so far. You can go for the Gurubashi Berserkers, for example, to buff them up. That's pretty interesting. Boulder Fist Ogres. You get like quite huge beef on the board. You can also choose Stormwind Champion, one for late game, and maybe a War Golem if you wish to, just to have the late stuff. And well, you need to survive until then, and you need some card draw. You can go for your Gnomes and Vendors also, even more beef on the board. There's also some 2-drops, so if you want to have more beef for the 2 region, that looks entirely good. And now we got 3 more drops to fill, and they're going to be maybe spell damage 1. You can choose Dark Scale Healer to heal your stuff. It's pretty interesting, and an Archmage for the late. This would be like some basic deck. You get 10 spells, you get 20 creatures, you have a good mana curve. That's like the next interesting thing, mana curve. In which deck, what to play where. So for example, if you go for a, well, I don't have 100 here now, but you can go for a Druid, and you see the mana curve is pretty late gamey, but not that really. So you get like 0 spells, obviously, but then we start with 1. You get like 4 2 spells, I mean. You get like 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7. So you try to keep this kind of curve, or you go like a U, and that's more a rush deck with maybe late game stuff. For example, Zulok has a lot of early stuff, and maybe like the Doom Guards, or even something bigger in the end. So you can go like this too. That's normally rush decks, Hunter, Zulok, stuff like that. And you have to choose just, for example, a Miracle Rogue has a really, well, early gaming mana curve. It goes like straight down. You have turn 5, some drops, you have a lot of early stuff, well, that's more or less spells, and then you got nothing in late game because you are going to win with a combo. So you don't need to be like, even in arena or deck building, I need like perfect, like 3 per mana, 2 per mana, definitely 3 4 3 4 3 4 in cards. That's definitely not needed. You just have to see what kind of deck you're playing. Really aggressive, then you have an early curve going down for late. You go mid-rangey, then you have a curve less early, less late, more in the middle, 4 5 6 drops. Or you go a control deck like the Warrior, and the Warrior, non-surprisingly, has a lot of early stuff with the spells, and then it has like the most drops in the end with 5 legendaries here, big ones. The good thing is, in this version, for example, you go like, you have a early curve, so you can deal with early stuff. You are mid game, you're not that strong, and late game you grow only stronger. So you get like Chillin' Yeti and stuff to relate or to survive into late game, and that's like the important thing. So what about the really basic concept of deck building in Hearthstone? I would say that's really the 20-10 ratio for spells and creatures. It's like 12, 18, 13, 17, 11, 19. If you add weapons, I would count weapons as spells, but don't be that crucial. So if you have 10 spells in a warrior and you go 3 weapons additionally, then it's like, okay, 17 creatures additionally, or you got like 8 spells, 5 weapons. You know what I mean? Just try to balance them out a little bit. So 15-15 can be a bit annoying because you're like, the chances are higher that you only hold spells and no creatures, or 1 spell for like one creature, 4 spells. And that's for a deck that relies on board control over minions. Quite annoying. That's why I like the 10-20 ratio. So if you have 20 creatures in, the chance that you have 3 creatures, 1 spell, 2-2, it's higher than if you have 20 spells, 10 creatures, obviously. So that's like a really, really basic. You need to acknowledge that, you need to use it, and, well, work together with it. Also, we're going to talk in the future episodes over special decks. We're going to start like with stuff like Control Warrior, how to build it, what you need, what you definitely have to have, and then continue on with how to build a budget Control Warrior, how to build a budget mage, how to build a rush mage, rush warrior, stuff like that. We're going to go through every class and give you 3 concepts how to play it, like aggressive mid-range control, and we'll also add budget versions for the people that can't afford the legendaries or like really basic decks. For example, like we build it for all the people that don't have a lot of cards and they're like, okay, I just started Hearthstone. I don't know what deck to build and what should I play. So just play what you like. So you like Hunter, you think Rexar is cool, play Rexar. You like Warlock, ever like Warlock, play Warlock. You like Paladin, Rogue, whatever you like, just play it. They're like, every class is great and every class is working. For beginners, I feel Mage is good, Druid, Rogue, and Warlock. They're like beginner friendly relatively. Hunter also. So let's say we're gonna build a really basic card Druid deck right now. Let's see what we can do here. So first of all, you're always gonna go for the Innervase. They're just great. And from all the Druid cards, Wild Grow is also good, even though you're like not having. We get the Wild Growth, we get the Rast, we got the Savage War. Give me a second, I need to go basic set again. We don't have the Rast. We have the Wild Growth, we have the Swipe, we have Ironbark Protector. We already got some beefy stuff. Let's go here and look for the big ones. So we play with the White Growth. We're gonna go with double Bullet Ogre, and we even gonna add double the 7. So now we need to play like survive until late game. We got 12 cards in, and we need to survive in the late game. So you kind of want to go, we need some early stuff. P4wny Yetis, obviously, because you can innervate them out, or White Grows them out relatively fast. You could add, that's like a decision you want to take maybe, add Shen Shield Masters just to survive into late game. And you're definitely going to add 1 Acidic Swamp Ooze for the mid game, just to destroy a weapon if your enemy is running it on you. You can also play 1 Cobalt Geomancer for the Swipe Madness. It ain't bad. If you draw it, it's good. If not, well, happens. I wouldn't add too many 2-drops because no profit from that. For all the 3-drops, they're not that great. In terms of 3-drops, I enjoy playing the Razorfen Hunter because it summons another minion and you get more versatility to trade. So you're gonna have like 20 cards in, and now you have like a drop where you say, okay, I can survive early game. We can add also to survive early game Double Claw. Now you're really good. You're like, okay, I can kill in the early game a lot of stuff. Just play a Claw, kill something. We have Double Mark of the Wild. And with all those cards, we kind of need to look out for card draw now. So we're going to add 2 Novice Engineers. And let's see, instead of the Senjins, we drop them out. We're going to pull in the Gnomes Inventors. So now you have additional card draw to get into the late game to your really beefy minions. You have another 6-drop we want to put in, or another 5-drop. Or you can play 1 Gurbashi Berserker, because it works perfectly together with Mark of the Wild. Like a Mark of the Wild, a Gurbashi Berserker is just going to be crazy. You can also play 2 of those. There's no much downside from it. We have 2 spots left. You can choose now with something like a Healing Touch. You could also go for a Savage Roar, especially if you have a lot of minions out, like your early stuff. You just need a Yeti, a Berserker, and a Boulder Fist Ogre, and you can play double Savage Roar, and the game is over. So you get 4 cards that draw cards, you got a lot of cards that deal damage, and you're pretty beefy with White Grows, Mark of the Wild, Innervate. You can get your stuff earlier and faster out. So you're really good with this deck. That's a basic druid I would play at the moment. I would try that. I think on ladder you should do relatively good with it. You can try it. If it ain't working, you might have to improve some stuff. The good thing is, as soon as you get your first, there we go, all sets, you get like your first Force of Nature. Oh, nice, awesome. You're a Bashi out, Force of Nature in. You get an Ancient of Lore. Okay, definitely drop out one War Golem to put an Ancient of Lore in. Stuff like that, if you know what I mean. So you already get some great substitutes if you get them. You get an Ancient of War, put the Ironbark Protector out. You get a Scenarios, put the Ironbark Protector out. You get a Druid of the Claw, Gurubashi out. You get a Keeper of the Grove, you drop out the Gnomish Inventor. The Razor-Fed Hunter goes for Harvest Golems, for example. Harvest Golems replace the Razor-Fed Hunters, and they get replaced with Thelness, for example, and Loot Hoarders. So that's how you're gonna do it. That's, for example, how you could build a basic deck. And, well, never forget the ratio, as we said, 20 to 10, creatures, 2 spells, weapons. Depends on the deck we're playing, but that was just about the really basics of deck building. How are you gonna look at it? So you shouldn't just pick a deck, put all the 20 creatures in you like, put all the 10 spells in you like, and then you're, is this aggro, mid-range, or control? Okay, I got it like, I wanna play mid-range. And then you're like, okay, let's pull out some creatures from the late and the early and pull more creatures in for the mid game. Okay, my spells are really early. I can survive the early with it. My mid game has some creatures. Now I miss a finisher. So add something big. Ragnaros, for example. Or you just finish with double Savage War, obviously in a druid. And you say, okay, I want to play control. I got 20 creatures in, but they're so low cost. All low cost out, high cost in. Sustain early game with spells. While Pyromancer, for example, stuff like that. We're gonna go deeper into that for, well, more and more classes in the upcoming series. That was only the first one with really the basics. What you need to think about, what you need to do. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like what we're doing here, if you like our show, definitely check out my YouTube. Go on there, here, subscribe, stay here. Also, look on my Hitbox channel. We're gonna live stream there every day. Warlords of Draenor today, for example, and Hearthstone a lot. Heroes of the Storm, we're doing quite a lot there. So peace, love, and bear hugs, guys. Hope to see you here and wherever else soon again.